In 2004, researchers timed how long the average person could stay focused on one screen before switching away 2.5 minutes. When the same researcher, Gloria Mark, at the University of California, Irvine, kept measuring over the years, the number collapsed to 47 seconds. Our brains didn't get weaker in 20 years. Someone built a feed with no bottom, and your brain, doing exactly what evolution designed it to do, can't put it down. You know the move. You open your phone to check one thing, and 25 minutes later, you're chin deep in bad news. Disasters, layoffs, strangers fighting, feeling worse with every flick of your thumb and somehow still scrolling. Researchers call it doomscrolling, and in the last few years, they've started taking it apart like an engine. What it is, what it does to us, and why willpower alone barely makes a dent. Because there are three gears that keep the scroll spinning, and once you can see them, stopping stops being a mystery and starts being a design problem, one you can actually solve. First things first, if that opening felt personal, this is not a character flaw. In 2022, researchers at the University of Florida built the first validated scale for measuring doom scrolling, and they found it's a real distinct habit, not just being on your phone too much. It travels with fear of missing out and that always connected feeling. It shows up on the political left and the right alike. And it's more common in young people, yeah, the people who grew up inside the feed. And for some of us, it gets heavy. When Brian McLaughlin's team at Texas Tech surveyed over 1,000 American adults, 16.5% showed what the researchers called severely problematic news consumption. For that group, the news wasn't something they read, it was something they couldn't stop reading, and their bodies seemed to know it. 61% of that group reported real physical ill-being on fatigue, aches, poor sleep, compared to about 6% of everyone else. Now that's a survey, a snapshot. It can't prove the scrolling caused the symptoms. It might partly run the other way. But it sharpens the question the surveys can't answer. If it makes us feel this bad, why can't we stop? To get that, you have to go back about 200,000 years. Gear 1, negativity bias. Your brain runs ancient threat detection software. For most of human history, the person who paid extra attention to bad news, the rustle in the grass, the rumor of sickness, survived. The relaxed one didn't. So bad news gets priority processing. It grabs your attention faster and holds it longer than good news. The feed didn't create that wiring, it just discovered it. Every alarming headline whispers to your threat system. Keep scanning. There might be more. Gear 2, unpredictable rewards. Every so often, the scroll pays out. Something genuinely funny, useful, fascinating. Your brain marks that discovery with dopamine, the chemistry of wanting more. But the payout never comes on schedule. Psychologists call this variable reinforcement, and it's the exact schedule slot machines run on, because unpredictable rewards keep a behavior going far longer than reliable ones ever could. The feed is a slot machine you can carry to bed. Gear 3, no stopping cues. A chapter ends, a match ends, a level ends. Endings are the moments your brain checks in and asks, am I done here? Infinite Scroll was engineered to delete them. There is no bottom of the feed, so the question never gets asked. Put the gears together and the trap snaps shut. Your threat system says keep scanning so you'll be safe. Your reward system says one more flick, it might pay out. And the design says no exit. That's why the hook of this video is true. Your brain isn't malfunctioning. Every gear is working as built. But here's the cruel twist. The scroll promises the one thing it takes away. Hold that thought. Because what does the scanning actually buy us? In 2024, Reza Shabahang and colleagues surveyed 800 university students in Iran and the United States. The more students doom scrolled, the more existential anxiety they reported. Not everyday stress, but a heavier sense that the world is dangerous and can't be trusted. We scroll to feel prepared. We stand up feeling more helpless. That's the cruel twist. Threat scanning that never resolves doesn't discharge anxiety, it rehearses it. It taxes your focus too. Gloria Mark's team found, using heart rate monitors, not just questionnaires, that the faster people switch attention between screens, the higher their measured stress. Fair warning, most of this evidence is correlational. Anxious people probably scroll more, and scrolling probably feeds anxiety, a loop feeding itself. But the strongest evidence isn't a survey at all, it's an experiment. And it starts with a question gamers will feel in their bones. Why does an hour in a game leave you feeling so different from an hour in a feed? In 2015, psychologists at the University of Michigan, Philippe Verdine, Ethan Cross, and colleagues tested this in the lab. People assigned to use social media passively, just scrolling, no posting, no interacting, felt measurably worse afterward, partly because passive feeds are envy machines, everyone else's highlight reel, your unedited footage. Active engagement didn't show the same decline. If you play games, you already know this contrast from the inside. A game is active. You set goals, you make choices, and matches end. They tell you how you did and hand the controls back. Even a brutal loss is your loss. The feed is the opposite. Passive, endless, aimless. This is not games good, phones bad. You can overdo either, and we will cover that on this channel, but it explains something real. An hour of play can leave you energized, while an hour of scrolling leaves a hangover. One gives your brain agency and endings, the other deletes both. Which brings us to the fix, and the strongest study here is genuinely hopeful. In 2025, Noah Castelo and colleagues ran a randomized trial. Participants installed an app that blocked all mobile internet on their phones for 2 weeks. Calls and texts still worked, the feed didn't. Sustained attention improved by roughly the equivalent of erasing 10 years of age-related decline. Depressive symptoms dropped more than in typical antidepressant drug trials. 91% of people improved on at least one measure, and the gains were still there 2 weeks after the block lifted. Most of us aren't blocking the internet for 2 weeks. Here's the good news, you may not have to. In 2023, researchers tested an app called 1sec that does one tiny thing. It adds a short breathing pause every time you open a targeted app. That sliver of friction led people to abandon over a third of their attempts on the spot, and over time they reached for the apps less at all. The lesson is bigger than any app. The scroll runs on frictionlessness. 10 seconds of friction beats an hour of willpower. So here's the loadout. 4 moves. Pick one to start tonight. 1. Add friction. Move the apps off your home screen. Log out after each use or install a pause app. 2. Give the scroll an ending, because the feed never will. Choose 1 or 2 set times a day to check the news and let something with a real endpoint fill the gap. An episode, a match, a walk. 3. Get the phone out of the bedroom. The first and last minutes of your day shouldn't belong to an algorithm. 4. Curate ruthlessly. Mute or unfollow anything that reliably spikes your anxiety. As Harvard Health puts it, cutting back is not about abstinence, it's about decreasing reliance. And one honest note, if the anxiety or the low mood is still there when the phone isn't, that's not a design problem, and you deserve real support. Talking to someone helps, a professional if you can, or the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline in the United States, or your local crisis line wherever you are. Your brain was never built for a bottomless feed, but it was built to learn, and endings, friction, and agency are all learnable. If this helped you see the machinery, subscribing is a nice ending to this scroll. And tell me in the comments, which of the 4 moves are you trying this week? See you in the next one.